A lot of the people I speak with say to me, Jordana, I love what you're doing, but I just don't see myself as a leader, which caused me to realize that I must have a much more inclusive definition of leadership than what the status quo has us believing. So let's talk about what leadership really is. To me, leadership is bridging the gap between what our souls know is possible and what the world actually needs. The myth about leadership is that it's purely about leading a group of people or some complex organization. What I find ironic is that many people who lead large teams aren't at all in touch with the possibility that exists inside of their soul, let alone what the world needs. In fact, to become a truly powerful and heart-centered leader, we have to be willing to give up what the status quo has taught us is true. A true leader knows how to turn their soul's inner knowing into something useful, which requires us to increase our emotional capacity. By doing this first, we remove the internal obstacles stopping us from making a real difference in the world, whether this is in our family, our community, or a great big business venture. This is important work. So now let's talk about bridging the gap between what our souls desire and what the world really needs. And this is the hardest part of true leadership. People resist change, right? So as change makers, we have to deal with fear, resistance, or ego from the people we encounter. But most of us haven't been taught how to break down the barriers of resistance without force. So what we need to do instead is move from force to true power so that we can create what the world needs. This means that no matter where we are on the spectrum of leadership, we need to hone one other skill that is literally the opposite of what we've been taught. And that is that we need to be able to feel. Because authentic power can only be found if we're willing to integrate our emotions. And we will make just about any excuse to avoid this. All the distracting, numbing out, and overanalyzing keeps us up in our heads, which is so much more appealing to our protective egos. And if you think about it, this isn't leadership. So as you can see, leadership is found everywhere we look. It's as much in the mother or the father and the many voices in our communities as it is in the CEO of the multinational corporation. And it is past time for us to recognize this. It's time for us to begin moving into authentic power and away from force to become the leaders this planet needs. So if you can recognize that you are a leader and you're ready to bridge the gap between what your soul knows is possible and what the world truly needs, then come and join me in my free masterclass. I'm going to go deep into the 9 leadership accelerators you need to become a more powerful leader and thrive in your version of leadership without sacrificing your personal integrity or your personal fulfillment. So click on the link to join me. Let's bridge the gap of unique leadership and contribution together.